If you're trying to lose fat, you probably know that eating more protein is important, but if you've ever actually tried to increase your protein, you've probably noticed something frustrating. You're eating better, you're tracking your food, and somehow you're still running out of calories before you hit your protein goal. Well, in order to lose 50 pounds in 4 months, I cut 1,000 calories a day and I was still hitting around 195 grams of protein. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 types of protein foods, which one is secretly wasting your calories and which one will easily help you hit 200 grams of protein for only 1,000 calories. So in order for that to even make sense, hitting 200 grams of protein for only 1,000 calories, you have to understand one really important thing. Not all protein foods are equal. Some foods give you a lot of protein for the calories you spend, others give you very little. And the easiest way to think about this is like an exchange rate, like for currency. Your calories are your budget. Think of them like your home currency when you travel, and every food has a different protein exchange rate. Some foods give you a great return, some are okay, and some are honestly terrible. And once you start looking at protein this way, it becomes much easier to pick foods that actually help you hit your target. So the first type we'll call the even exchange. And a good baseline rule is this: for every 100 calories, you want around 10 grams of protein. Now, if we're thinking about this like currency, it's similar to traveling somewhere like Canada from America. The US dollar converts pretty evenly. They don't give you a ton of their currency back, but you're not losing a ton either. It's more or less the same, but to make it even easier for you to see, take a look at this image. This bar helps you visualize where most of the calories in a food are coming from. Calories are made up of protein, carbs, and fat. So when a food lands around that 10 grams per 100 calorie rule, the ratio usually looks something like this. You can see that the protein takes up a good portion of the bar, but a lot of those calories are still coming from carbs or fat. So overall, it's a pretty well balanced exchange. A good example would be something like a protein bar. A Bear Bell protein bar has 200 calories and 20 grams of protein, which puts them exactly on that baseline rule. Another example would be something like an egg. An egg has around 6 grams of protein for roughly 80 calories. So when you look at the ratio bar, you'll see protein taking up a good portion of the bar, but some of those calories are still coming from the fat in the yolk, which is why eggs are an okay protein source. They're not amazing, but they're not bad either. It's a solid middle of the road protein source. And if most of your diet looks like this, you'll usually end up getting pretty close to your protein goal, but often still fall a little short. For example, if you spend 2,000 calories eating mostly foods like this, you'll probably end up somewhere around 200 grams of protein, maybe a little less, which is decent, but there are foods that give you a much better return for the same calories. Before we get to those though, we need to talk about the foods that keep people stuck, because most people start following fitness advice and try to eat more protein, then accidentally pick foods that have terrible protein exchange rates. And that is type 2 protein sources. So instead of getting about 10 grams of protein per 100 calories, these protein sources only get around 5 grams of protein per 100 calories. So now you're spending the same calories but getting an insultingly small amount of protein in return. And at that exchange rate, you'll run out of calories long before you hit your protein goal. This is like traveling somewhere where your dollar suddenly shrinks. Maybe you go to Britain, you hand over $1 and you get cents back. And when we look at the ratio bar for these types of food, it usually looks something like this. You'll notice protein only takes up a small portion of the bar, while most of the calories are coming from fat or carbs. And this is where the big trap happens, because technically these foods do contain protein, and because online fitness has popularized a focus on more protein, more and more products in grocery stores are being labeled high protein. You see protein on the label, you know it's coming from a protein source, so it feels like you're making the right choice, but most of those calories aren't actually coming from protein, and because protein is the most filling macro, foods like this tend to be far less satisfying than foods with a better protein exchange rate. Because when people first start trying to eat more protein, they often add foods that sound high protein or are even marketed that way, but a lot of these foods still have bad exchange rates. For example, I saw this high protein Hot Pocket. Now, technically, yes, it does have high protein. It has 20 grams, but at 400 calories, when you actually look at the ratio bar, it ends up looking something like this. But it's not always marketing that causes the problem. Sometimes it's foods that we've always assumed were healthy, high protein. For For example, almonds. A lot of people think of almonds as a healthy protein snack, but when you look at the ratio bar, they have the same problem. Most of the calories are also coming from fat, not actual protein. So if you spent your day eating foods like this, you could burn through 2,000 calories and only end up with about 100 grams of protein, which is honestly pretty abysmal. So whether it's a high protein hot pocket or a healthy handful of almonds, for this goal, they create the exact same problem. You're spending a lot of calories and barely moving your protein. When I was a kid, I remember visiting my family in Guatemala, and I remember exchanging $10 and getting what felt like a gajillion quetzal back. Suddenly, I felt like I was rich, like my money just went way further. And that's exactly what type 3 protein sources feel like. They flip the exchange rate completely in your favor. If you were to spend 100 calories, you'd get 20 grams of protein in return. Or another way to think about it is, if you spend 2,000 calories, you'd get 400 grams of protein in return. Now, the reason these foods have such a good exchange rate is actually pretty simple. They're almost nothing but protein. They contain very little fat and very few carbohydrates, which means most of the calories are coming from protein itself. So think about something like a steak. The lean part of the steak is mostly protein, but the fat cap on the side adds a lot of extra calories. So same thing with an egg. The egg white, pure protein, while the yolk carries most of the fat and the calories. But when those extra calories disappear, the exchange rate suddenly becomes better. So something like egg whites ends up looking like this, essentially just protein with only trace amounts of carbohydrates. Or take chicken breast, very lean source of protein, very little fat. And when food looks like this, you spend very little calories and start getting big chunks of protein back. And those numbers start stacking up fast. But just to be clear, this doesn't mean that you go around cutting the fat caps off your steaks. It just shows you how calories are actually built. When fat or carbs show up in a food, they start taking up part of that calorie budget. And that's totally fine. Like, you need fats, you need carbs, but once protein is handled, the rest of your calories are basically yours to spend however you want. So instead of spending your whole day obsessing over protein and wondering if you're going to hit that goal, it really is like traveling somewhere where your money suddenly goes way further. You can take care of the basics, but now you've actually got way more spending power for the fun parts of the trip. And calories work the same way. Once protein is handled, you can spend on carbs and fats, which is usually where all the fun foods live. So let me show you what this actually looks like. If you wanted to hit 200 grams of protein for 1,000 calories, it could look something like this. One protein shake, 350 grams of egg whites, 400 grams of shrimp, and 300 grams of chicken breast. Put that together and you get about 200 grams of protein for just 1,000 calories. And the thing I really want you to notice here is think about how much food this actually is. You could even remove the protein shake and increase the other three for more food volume. And that's just a little over 1,000 calories that is basically pure protein. And the funny thing is, most people don't even need this much protein. For most people, a good target is roughly 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, which is usually a lot less than people think. But the real question is, how do you actually turn this idea into a full diet and meal plan that actually helps you lose weight? Because hitting protein is only one piece of the system. So if you want to see how to actually build a meal plan around this and make fat loss way easier, make sure to watch this video right here.